Well, here we are.
Ooh.
We're at this batch of episodes. The batch of episodes you've all been waiting for us to cover. Ooh, boy.
Mother me. Sweet, sweet mother above.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, we made it this far. And as always, like I said, and I've always said it, ladies and gentlemen, we did not pick the thug life. Okay? The thug life picked us. And sometimes you got to do some things you're not really comfortable with doing.
Mm-hmm.
And especially within these batch of episodes. Before we begin, first off, how are you guys? How you doing? And secondly, I know that you've all been waiting, you've all been wanting, you've been counting down, and thank God. But we must put a disclaimer on today's episode.
Mm-hmm.
We must really do that.
Yeah.
So,
because this whole batch of episodes, we're like,
oh hell no! 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 Oh hell no!
Oh hell no!
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
We are here to discuss Kamen Rider X episodes 20 through 26.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I tried putting it for the thumbnail. You might have noticed that I put in the three least offensive looking hygiene.
You put in 3. Again, I was kind of like, are we gonna get in trouble if we put in the 4th one? Are we gonna
I'm more concerned about the 5th one.
Well, no, that's what I mean. I was like, I mean, look, the characters that are being portrayed here. Let me try to do the narrator voice. Ladies and gentlemen, due to today's content of this video, we must issue a warning to our following content. The Morphin Network does not support the stereotypes that are being pursued here today. We respect all people of creeds, backgrounds, and of races. Given that these characters are caricatures of what they were before, we are here to rip and have fun. So with all due, let's get into it. Yeah, man. This was the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
It was the 70s, and well, a certain event wasn't even like 20 years old, and some of these characters are like way older than they are, but still, I'm like, ooh, wouldn't fly today. I know that, even though it's kind of like, well, it's a Japanese show. Yes, but here's the thing, though. I mean, we're in America, and I'm sorry, but
it's like this. It's like this.
The saying, oh, it's a product of its time is not good enough anymore, apparently, And I'm not saying it was good back then either. But if you grew up like maybe we did, watching Woody Woodpecker, Looney Tunes, Popeye, the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, pick one, Scooby-Doo, Flintstone, Yogi, even like a Flesher cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, they painted them in certain people in a light that you're like, nowadays would be a cancelable offense.
Mm-hmm.
But we can look at it and be like, well, we see what you're going here, especially towards the end. You're like, man, they really. I'm like, wait, Japan, weren't you? We don't talk about that. But but you guys were. We don't talk about that. But why are you talking bad about them? I mean, you guys, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, it's like.
I'm like, anyone ever seen the movie Tora? Like,
I'll say this. So, because we're now in the second half of the series, where things take an interesting turn plot-wise, we obviously have to have like a new motif for the bad guys. And this isn't new in Kamen Rider, nor will it be the last time. I mean, I remember there was
we've seen it. Well,
yeah.
It'll be a prevalent thing in Sentai when they start.
Yeah, it's like remember, yeah, you know, like how like even in Gaim, you know, it's like oh, the blue Invis had one motif, and green Invis had a different motif, and the red Invis had a different motif from that.
Yeah.
Bokenger, you had actually Ginga Man had like 4 different generals, each with their own motifs.
Under one faction. Remember?
Yeah, but they were all under one faction. Then in Bokenger, there were 4 separate factions. Each with their own different motifs.
Even like what Ghost Ager, even though they had 3 different factions, there was one guy that was in every single faction.
Then the cryptozoologicals, and then robotic aquatic creatures, and then
finally Paradiso.
Yes.
Which I'm like,
so it's not an issue the fact that there was a change in motif. Granted, I really like the whole Greek pantheon motif, to be honest. Now the idea of what the bad guys are based on in this half of the season, on paper, it's not a bad idea. It's just the execution's not really well done. Let's just say, there was a time when I would say Attack of the Clones was the worst of the 6 Star Wars movies, back when there were 6 Star Wars movies. But even then, I could say, yeah, there were a few things Attack of the Clones did good.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I have to defend Ghost, because Kamen Rider Ghost did something similar to what we're doing here, but they did it in a way that's a little bit more couth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I've heard. I've not seen, but I've heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like certain things, like certain ideas in this batch of episodes were done in Ghost better. And I don't like saying good things about Ghost, but not a very politically correct batch of episodes.
Again, before we get into it, like Michael said, we had, in the first like 21 episodes, I was kind of scratching my head there, wondering what is God's plan? What are they planning? What are they trying to do? It's like everything is like make mankind into cyborgs. I'm like,
destabilize the Japanese economy by stealing a kid's candy money.
What was your agenda at all in the beginning, God? Really?
Yeah.
Kind of just like, wait.
We understand. A secret club because of our agenda. It is a dark agenda. It is an agenda some other clubs may not agree with.
Or even get. Because it's like, we're going to turn them into cyborgs. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And I'm like, we're going to turn people into trees. I'm like,
why? We're going to turn them into cats.
Cats. Yeah. Why?
Oh, notice how they reused the same fang makeup? The same fang prosthetics for the cats.
Don't even get me started with the fang makeup in this episode, because I'm just like, fangs, it's like your wisdom teeth came out and grew tusks. I'm like, no, with the cat people, they're pointing up. With these guys, they're pointing outward now. And it's just like,
yeah. And in one particular scene, you could tell that Mako's were not.
They were not put on pretty well. Yeah.
Properly, yeah. Because Mako's fangs were like pointing toward. Yeah. Like one of them was like forward, and the other one's like pointing like towards the other one. I'm like, this girl cannot catch a break.
No. And that's the thing with Mako and Kyoko, that they're just you know, they're just there because sometimes I'm like, believe me, we're gonna have a couple of facepalm moments with these two that I'm like, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah.
so
now,
in the previous episode, you know, we finally defeated Apollo Geist. The Apollon Palace has been destroyed. And we hear from King Dark that
which
we will
finally
meet
get to
soon,
see in
Kamen
this
Rider.
episode. We did see him on the door knocker though, which I'm like, there's no way. No, it is. That it is. It totally is. Because apparently King Dark is the Pokemon Slacking, where he's just like,
he's posed exactly like Slacking, or he's like,
he's literally a Slacking, like he's just there, like, because apparently, girl and brother go and they see a cave for some reason, and they go in and they see this giant mass of would we say it's a machine?
A giant metal man, and he wakes up. So of course, so did it assassin and this Jäger.
Just like Aaron's mom.
Yeah.
And this was the 70s, so we could show that.
You know, I like to imagine that the the Iron Golem from Castlevania series was based off of King Dark, just because of how similar the sprite looks to, King Dark.
You know, like I said, these Kamen Riders from Ichigo up to X, the original 5 have been and always have been a big influence in all media, because like I said, look at Sailor Moon, look at Dragon Ball, look at Dragon Ball Z, look at your video games. Like,
they're all references to the Magnificent Seven Riders.
Digimon, Persona, Castlevania, all of them have, like, for some reason they throw in a Sentai or a Kamen Rider reference somewhere in there. Now, to a foreigner, you wouldn't get it, but to those like us pathetic souls, we're like, was that?
Yes, it was.
Like, what was
it? Like Sailor Moon originally was supposed to be like a shoujo version of Kamen Rider called Codename Sailor V, because it's a play on the French phrase C'est la vie.
They did keep the motif for Sailor V with their mouth.
But then the editors, I don't know if it's from Shoujo Beat or someone else, were like, yeah, see, we want to market this more with merchandise, so can you turn your Kamen Rider reference into a Super Sentai reference? And that's how we basically ended up with Sailor Moon. But then it's like, hey, remember that Sailor V character you had earlier?
Yeah.
Can you make her like a permanent member of the team, like a Sixth Ranger?
Remember, Sailor V was mentioned early on before she even met the Sailor Scouts.
Yeah, so. because a lot of mangaka, when they have a failed project that they were passionate about, they would somehow like arbitrarily insert it into their successful one as an Easter egg. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, first of all, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, there are a lot of references to Nikolai Tesla and Gorgeous Irene, and also what's it called, the Bao, Bao, Gorgeous Irene, and Tesla. Like, they would all have be referenced throughout JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. In what's it called, in Bleach, I'm pretty sure if you look carefully, somewhere there's going to be a zombie powder reference.
Yeah, there is actually one. Hell, not a lot of people probably would say, but
even in Hellsing, like Heinkel and Yoko are a reference to a manga that the author previously made about two zombie hunting nuns.
Yeah, they totally are. See, the thing is with Zombie Powder and Bleach is that, again, I noticed it a long time ago just because, but then a lot of people now. Did you notice that the character of Grimjaw Jaggerjack looks like almost closely to the main character that was in Zombie? Like the face, the hairstyle, almost exactly the same.
I would take even further. There was this one Frazione under Grimjow Jaggerjack that I swear looks like the first boss that Gamma actually fights. You know that one dude who wears a hoodie for the first couple of chapters and then reveals himself to be like a teenager, and he's got like these jet boosters on his sword. Like, I swear, one of Grim.
He was supposed to be. I think he was D-Roy. I think.
Yeah, I think it was D-Roy.
I think it was D-Roy because and again, the same thing goes with all that. You know, Sailor Moon had Tuxedo Mask, and what's Tuxedo Mask's name in the Japanese? Tuxedo Kamen.
Tuxedo no Kamen.
Yeah. So again,
and then in Dragon Ball Z, you know, you got a Sentai reference with
the
Toku Sentai Ginyu Force,
but that's also a reference.
And then
to
you
Sailor
got
Moon. That's also a riff on Sailor Moon as well.
Yes,
but also
and then you got Great Saiyaman, who's a Kamen Rider reference, but then in the tournament he was turned into a Tuxedo Mask reference.
Yeah. So hell, Yu Yu Hakusho had a couple references to.
Oh yeah, no, one of the semi-finalist teams in the Dark tournament were literally a Super Sentai reference because each of their names had Aka, Ao, Momo, Ki, and Midori in their names because they're Team Sentai. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, the references and all that. Again, these writers, especially X, I've noticed, has been a lot in pop culture. So to say, you know, like Tokusatsu, Kamen Rider, Ultraman, or whatever, you know, the Sentais are not part of the quote unquote anime or the, you know, weeb experience. Double check your references, people. It so is 100%.
Yeah, there are people who are dumbfounded that in Japan, Kamen Rider is more iconic than One Piece. And they're like, if it's so iconic, how come I never heard of it? Because you're uncultured. That's why.
Because you only watch what is popular. Don't get me wrong.
Because
I've been a One Piece
in America. Popular in America.
For 20 some odd years. And One Piece, as of recently, for the past 3-4 years, has become popular. 3 years out of the 20 that I've been in. So what happened? Well, you know what happened. We all know what happened. And you finally realize it's a great story. There's a lot of feelings in it. Yeah. And well, you know, welcome aboard. But you guys after that, it's only because you guys, again, a majority of the populace focuses on what's popular and what's, you know, trending.
Popular in America.
Popular. Instead of, you know, venturing out and be like, hey, you know, I've only had maybe 2 people ask me, so that show that you reviewed, Kiva, Build, do you have actual copies of that? I'm like, or do you have something for me to watch? And I'm like, yeah. And they like, wait, I saw this in a show. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, even in a show as obscure as Durarara, which features a certain friend of ours, like there's a part where a certain rival of our mutual friend, like freaking like it's like trying to like lift up a guy dressed up as a shocker combatant and flip him over while a bunch of guys behind him dressed up as Super Sentai are like.
No, the aliens in the first episode were referenced to one of the aliens in Ultraman.
Yep.
You know, the ones that were like, we must breed. And I'm like, oh man. Hell, Shin Godzilla made an episode reference in one of the shows in Dandadan.
Yeah, so it's like if Kamen Rider is so iconic, how come I never heard of it? Have you ever heard of Sugomask? Who do you think Sugomask is based on? Have you listened to Sugomask's theme song? Did you even listen to it in English?
Right now on Netflix. Well, this is also an iconic show, but again, it also referenced Kamen Rider. What we would know in America as Ultimate Muscle.
Yeah.
You know, there's the original. They remade the original Kikumon, you know, his dad's story, and it's on Netflix now. And the references
he's got the thing for the Ultraman with the head.
He's like, Oh, Chi-Chi did that too.
Even Chi-Chi did that. Exactly.
Little girl Chi-Chi, I believe.
Yeah, down to the beam.
Yeah, she go whack and kills the dinosaur. She even does the and that's like, wait, that's an Ultra Leo.
The only thing that would make it less subtle is if Chi-Chi did this while it shoots out from her head.
No, someone actually did do that in the Dragon Ball series. I don't remember who, but someone actually did the Spatium beam.
I hope it's not Devilman.
Here's also one for you Dragon Ball fans. Krillin's Destructo Disc.
Oh yeah, that's a Sailor Moon reference. Wait, no, Sailor Moon is after,
but it's also an Ultraman reference because Ultraman did the discs and he would cut the kaiju. I'm like, the Destructo Disc is that. So
yeah,
right
even
there.
in Blazar, we had that rainbow donut.
Yeah, the almighty rainbow donut.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the references in Kamen Rider. But again, X is truly one to be part of the books because how many people have referenced him and his monsters along with the story about, well,
Daddy wasn't there to take.
Daddy wasn't there, or there's a special weapon that has been split among X amount of people, and they all have to come together, or we must gather the pieces.
Oh yeah, it's almost as if there are poneglyphs guiding us to the Mars.
Hell, in one of the episodes we're going to talk about, we could even say there's a Full Metal Alchemist reference in it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just like, and again, the whole thing about like, we're trying to stop an ancient evil organization from coming and bringing these all together and making a super ultimate weapon that would conquer the world. I'm like, you know what? Close your eyes, throw a dart at a board, and then land it on an anime. I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah. So,
yeah. No, even like something as contemporary as Rise of the Shield Hero had something like that. Because what's it called? Because like you need all 4 weapons working together to defeat the evil Church of the 3 weapons. Yeah.
But let's get down to it because people want to hear us talk and rip on these references.
Okay, so yeah, as we were, so David the Thatcher and we see the Jaeger, and and so King Dark summons his legion of only 4 characters. Where were you guys?
Had the entire Greek pantheon, the gods that were similar to men, and now it's like I bring my most powerful. Then what the hell were they? What was Apollo Geist then? Why did you spend that much time bringing him back then? It's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah. So we got Genghis Condor. Scorpion Geronimo, Toad Goemon, and Beetle Lupin, and nobody else.
No one else.
No, really. It's just those 4 characters we see. Those are the only 4 characters we see in the episode. We're not deliberately trying to censor.
We're not trying to censor it. You know who it is. It's only 4.
Legit. This is legit.
4.
The only 4 characters that show up in that episode.
Yeah, only 4, not anything else. I'm like, oh, so these must be like, this is what I would think that like the 4 horsemen of Gaim would have been. Like, get the Invis King, bring me my 4 horsemen, and they come in. I'm like,
even Hokkaido did a better job doing that 4 horsemen
I'm like,
thing.
okay, we have these guys that are based off of very historical people that were, well, I guess were very horrible. Yeah, they were in life. They were very infamous, I guess is the word. To say that they were horrible, some of them, yes, some of them, no.
Some of them more horrible than others, but
yeah, I mean, it depends on how you look at them.
One of them was fictional. One of them was semi-fictional.
I mean,
because Arsene Lupin was definitely not a real person in real life.
No. But it's kind of like saying, well, you could look at like Robin Hood as a bad guy because he was going against the government. Yeah, you could also say that about Luke Skywalker too. I'm
just wondering, like, why not go like full fiction or just like full literary?
Yeah, but we're doing it. But yeah, so Genghis again. You could have called him Genghis Condor, No, you had to call him Genghis Khan Condor.
Yeah. See, I'm calling him Genghis Condor because it sounds cooler.
It sounds better because I'm like, wait, I thought his name was Genghis Condor. No. His name is Genghis Khan Condor.
Yeah.
Excuse me? The joke writes itself. I know, but
Yeah.
we got to make sure that it looks like a condor, even though the color scheme of this kaijin technically references an American eagle instead of a condor.
Yeah, the two don't look anything alike. Um,
I'm like, well, I mean, what? You couldn't have used the bald eagle? I mean, Genghis Khan was bald.
and this is where I have to draw my first complaint about the Monster of the Day suit moving forward from here.
They reused Icarus. They totally did. They gave him a Fu Manchu level like mustache. And I'm like, did you just hot glue that onto the suit and just paint it?
It's even worse than that because like even with the previous monsters, even their worst designs, they had like a full body, beautiful rubber design to them. I mean, just look at freaking Neptune and freaking Cronus, even Prometheus. Like they had, Ulysses had one of the better designs. But like here, it's like they over decorate like the upper body, and then they just stop at the legs where it's just a monochrome tights.
Yeah.
That's like one of my biggest complaints about the entire half season's worth of. I mean, like I could go into like,
and that's kind of thing because they even reused the Icarus flying toy, just painted it a different color because I'm like, wait, didn't we have a flying fight episode like a while back? We're still doing that again with Genghis Khan Condor. I'm gonna be saying that throughout this whole thing. So if you're drinking whatever you're drinking, and for me for saying that, prepare yourselves to go to the bathroom. Oh, we're just barely started, man.
Yeah.
So
okay, and
Mike.
so he's like Genghis Condor because like I cannot say Genghis Khan Condor for the life of me. Like you're based on Genghis Khan, who conquered so much land and killed so many people, had the largest empire in the entire history of humanity, and you have the ferocity of a condor. What will be your evil plan this week? I'm gonna turn people into vampires.
How does that make sense?
It really doesn't.
I mean,
he even has bats. The dude even has bats. At that point, why even make him a condor?
Well, it's all. I mean, I did read up that Genghis Khan. I mean, records be as they may, but apparently that whole like drink the blood of your enemies came from Genghis Khan. Like he would actually do that because he believed like if he were to defeat a strong opponent, he would gain their. But
Vlad the Impaler did it with more class. He at least fermented the blood into wine and then drank in the battlefield.
Yeah, but we can't have alcohol in this show. Well, we can, but
even though they clearly showed us having alcohol in the past.
Well, the thing is that
future.
I guess we can't be like seeing the bad guy drink, even though Japan is more relaxed than that in Sentai and Kamen Rider for the past. I don't know, but
it's like at that point, why not just make him vampire Genghis Khan? Like, instead of making historical figures based on animals, make them based on like monster, like classic Hollywood monsters. You would have like you would have Genghis Khan vampire. You would have Kappa Goemon because it would still fit the Toad theme.
Like a Kappa,
and Lupin would be and you would have werewolf Lupin because Lupin is French for wolf.
Yeah.
It would fit. It would fit. I've seen Wolfman.
Yeah, I don't really understand the whole premise of. Well, I guess we had it beforehand. No, I'm sorry. So we find, he's going out and making people into vampires, but it's also the fact that there's also, they're searching for something.
Yeah,
we're not sure what that thing is, but they're searching for it.
Yup. and of course,
kind of hints a bit about what they're searching, but it doesn't really say what it is yet. But
yeah. So the
apparently-
sister that survived turns out to be a friend of Mako and Chico.
Mhm.
And like she's in the hospital, and the doctor tells the two of them to shoo because there's nothing suspicious about a doctor telling his patients to shoo, especially in Kamen Rider X. And like the moment he walks into the doctor walks into the room, like, how much money did you wager to yourself that that's actually Genghis Condor in disguise?
How did the Japanese predict the current situation with the healthcare system? Bunch of leeches, I swear to God.
Mm-hmm.
The poor girl just went through hell seeing her brother get eaten by the colossal titan, and now she's getting sucked on by a condor.
Yeah, which
how that
makes
works, I can't believe I actually said that.
And even in his human form, like he's got like the same tusks from the cat people episode, and he pulls a bat down and like
I don't see. Okay, let's play this out. So they got tusks, literal tusks, and they do bite marks on the arm. Now, what are you like? Stab, but there's no exit point. It's just like there's two gaping holes right here. That, I mean, it's gonna be noticeable. I mean, I guess even being noticeable in on the neck too, but. It's like
I mean, when Mako and Chico were there, at least she had bandages on. But he removes the bandages.
Girl gets turned into one, and it's just like your friends. I'm like, what about them? What about them? What is it that you're gonna gain from attacking Mako and Chica? Like, what are you? What's the gains here?
Yeah,
I'm not. I mean. Genghis Khan was considered to be one of the greatest warlords and tacticians of his time. This guy, he really gives a new term to the word bird brain. Because I'm like...
Yeah, see, I get that, like, the real Genghis Khan, like, you could say 1/3 of the Chinese population are his direct descendants, but I'm pretty sure it's not because he's been vampire biting people.
When you want to say, did you get any cheeks? We're referencing Genghis Khan because that man got all of the cheeks in what was known as China at the time.
Yes. No, it wasn't voluntary.
No, but he still got it. We don't condone it, but he still got it.
Yeah. We're gonna question him still getting it in this episode. But yeah, so X does fight him, and also this is where like I noticed that there is a certain formula in X where like he fights a monster the day, then either he or the monster retreats, then we have like 5 to 10 minutes of just like meandering before X shows up again, like from a secret entrance. It's like either by disguise or it turns out he was already in the room the whole time. It's like, oh, we'll have one final battle, and then he does that.
Cue the Pee Wee Herman bike, because again, did you forget that this bike could fly? It doesn't have those spinny propellers in the front for nothing. This thing can also fly, and we do the whole exactly what we did for Icarus. We have a flying bike battle between Genghis Condor and Genghis Khan Condor and the Kamen Rider. And again, another rider kick, and he falls, and dramatically, he fell like handsome Squidward. He's like, and then blows up.
Yeah,
catching waves.
Yeah, we could go like we could go into how Chico and Mako were ambushed by their friend who became a vampire, and then they became vampires.
Yeah,
and then they ambushed Tachibana, and then he became a vampire, and then freaking what's it called? And then he tries to ambush Jean, but Jean was too good to notice that. So he's like, "Hey, you have a bite mark just like them."
No, remember. So when he found out, he had this whole thing where Tachibana tried to get him, but then Mako and Chica got him, and they kind of like grab him by his arms that are pulling down. But then the camera pans to him, right? And the girls are going down. And I'm like, all right, Jean Kisuke. Getting the double.
What the hell is that?
You know what that was, because it's like the look on his face was like, oh, and he just falls over. I'm like, damn, girls.
Mm-hmm. No, and like even like Tachibana trying to escape from the two girls was kind of interesting to watch because like he jumps over a table and then just dives straight onto a mattress, only for them to like drag him by the feet. It's like I feel like if you just take a little time to just change the camera angle for when they drag him by the feet, it could have looked more menacing. You know, like make a real close up of him, like going like. Ah!
Yeah, but no, I mean, it was entertaining to see the whole, like, seeing these three become infected again.
Yes, like we haven't seen it in the cat episode.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. And so, as we said, the Genghis Khan Condor, try saying that 3 times fast.
Genghis Khan Condor, Genghis Khan Condor, the Genghis Khan Condor.
It's like, he dies, and it's like, he's like, so Genghis Khan Condor is dead now. Everyone should transform back. And I'm like, yeah, cue Tachibana and the girls and even the sister. All fine. Like, you only infected 4 people. You tried to infect another one, but you failed because apparently these vampires don't follow vampiric lore. Because Mako tried to attack someone in broad daylight, and yet she creepily runs away. And I'm like,
yeah, and also they think they got Jean at one point. It's like, but he's like, "Hello, I'm a cyborg," and you'd think Genghis Khan Condor would have accounted for that.
No, they're all dumbasses because they think like, no, he should be infected because he's a cyborg. I'm like, you dropped him off a building, he survived. You drowned him, he survived. You blew him up, he survived.
You tried to poison him, and he survived.
You've thrown him into an arc reactor, and he survived. What makes you think a little bite on the arm is going to kill him? I'm like, again, you're supposed to be based, and again, they even say so. I am based off, that I have the abilities, the attributes, and the intelligence. No, you don't.
They don't.
You got the intelligence of a pigeon. Because if you were really good with your plan, you would have sent the Cal Art Tech students to go be infected as well and then infect the populace, but you didn't even do that.
That would have been smarter.
Yeah, you would have.
Heck, give props to the cat dude. At least he infected more people.
I'm not evil. But I'm given more of an idea than than this.
Even the reptile person infected more people into becoming reptiles.
Like, what the heck? I'm like, you're supposed to be based off of Genghis Khan. Okay. I believe that. That mustache though ain't doing you any favors though.
No, it's not.
But yeah, that is the episode, and again, the Kamen Rider has beaten Genghis Khan Condor again. Yes. Where will he be? He is off to fight God. Till next episode. And I'm like, you know what? I just need a bowl of cereal every time he fucking says that, because I feel like a kid watching this on a Saturday morning. What's happening next? Well, let's see. What does happen next? Next episode.
Next episode, we see some GOD scientists working on some blueprints, and apparently the reason why King Dark isn't running rampant is because he is in need of an RS device to give him the energy. So basically, we're going by Serpentera logic here, where you have this all-powerful being, but his too lacking in energy to do anything about his all powerfulness.
You know, what I forget. It escaped my mind. What is the name of Serpentera in Die Ranger?
Don't know, don't care.
I mean it. The fact that that's what they did to that in the American League, it's so huge, it's so big that it can never, or like it needs to literally be star killer based, that it needs to absorb the power of the nearest star for it to just even move 5 feet.
Yeah.
And that's
it's called Daijin Ryu.
Daijin Ryu, yeah. And of course, Daijin Ryu was again based off of the Taoism and the center dragon.
And what was really cool about it as a concept is the fact that it is a true neutral, which means it only helps the good guys or bad guys based on which one is losing. So if the good guys the reason why it was fighting on the side of the Gorma was because for some reason the Die Rangers were winning, but then as soon as with the Gorma get an advantage, it immediately betrays them.
Yeah, so it literally is the balanced yin and yang. It is the Shenlong. That is what this thing is. It is literally the Fu Shenlong that is in the center of in the center of the 4 gates of the Heavenly Guardians. So the fact that King Dark
so the fact that it like always like rebels against the bad guys once the bad guys have an advantage, basically like they basically try to explain it away in Power Rangers by saying, "Oh, I didn't charge the batteries."
Yeah, electric cars back in the 90s were not what they are now.
Yeah.
But so that's what King Dark is basically doing. He's trying to find a long enough HDMI cable type C to plug into him to charge himself up so he can get off of his slacking position, or be like Snorlax and get a V move to finally get off his butt and run.
Yeah.
So that's our plot, because apparently the scientist it's all part of one big plan.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently the scientist was fully aware that God was looking into this. Because that's where this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is where the story actually we now have a plot, a goal, something to not allow to happen. And that is that King Dark wants to get this ray, this thing, to charge himself up and run rampant, give us a colossal Titan montage,
Yeah.
Which is actually pretty good. I'm like, okay, this isn't Sentai. We don't have a giant robot or anything, or like a giant jet carrier. How would the Kamen Rider fight this thing if it did get up?
Right. Maybe call on the help of some friends in the future. So the scientists are having a discussion over what looks like orange juice. And it's like, oh, did you remember to remove all the tracking and recording devices? Yes. Even in this juice. Yes. Even in this Rubik's Cube. Yes.
But not their buttons.
Because apparently all of the scientist codes.
I'm like,
it's lighting up and everything.
You know what? God seems very inept, very like, man, dude, they couldn't even take over a subway. How the hell are they going to take over the world? But I'm like, that's actually pretty smart that the
Subway sandwich restaurant.
Yeah. Like the uniforms are bugged. The buttons are like, okay, I guess. Yeah. So that's actually pretty smart. Why didn't you do that before? They just start talking, but it's like we can't let God get a hold of it, but God already knows that you guys are doing this. So what do? Well, first we got to introduce a little girl character for some reason.
Yeah.
Again, kidnapping. Always remember, kids, if you want to dominate the world, kidnap the kids. and put them into bodily. There's so much bodily harm in children in these episodes.
Today's internet service provider is brought to you by Get a New Coverage. You get a new coverage because your current one sucks. But yeah, Toad Goemon. He is
a toad.
He looks like a Centauran.
Based off of literally what is technically Japan's version of Robin Hood.
Yes. So much so that even Overwatch points it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have our
and
own
of course you all know, some people are like Goemon. Where have I heard that before? Do you remember a certain blue-haired ninja?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the yeah. Or even like in I think it was Dynasty Warriors 5. There was a reference to Goemon.
Yeah, and yes, Goemon is one of the 15 icons from Kamen Rider Ghost.
Yeah, also from Kamen Rider Ghost.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Which brings me to wonder, why did Shocker? That's not Shocker. God not simply use what's his name, Nobunaga as one of its warriors?
Because Nobunaga is a badass.
Yeah, he is a badass.
Goemon, from my understanding, Goemon can either be kind of cool or he can be a real dork.
He was definitely boiled alive.
Depending on like, you know who's a good modern interpretation of Goemon, even though they never really like said it is, but I mean, like it. I saw it, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. Kozuki Oden.
Okay.
Kozuki Oden, because when you look at some of the stories that is depicted in Kabuki and in even in literary for Goemon, he's like this kind of like, powerful, like Ronin ninja type thing that, he's like, oh, he's so powerful. And then other times he's out in the streets dancing half naked or like being a goof. It's like, wait, so was this character like great and respected, or was he a joke? We don't know. Goemon
much like how Lupin had a grandson named Lupin the Third, Goemon had a great grandson named Goemon the 18th.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Toad Goemon, which
who looks like a Centauran from Doctor Who.
Yeah, I was like, wait up, cue the fourth Doctor's intro. Because I'm like, bro, this is a Centauran.
Yeah.
But I think the Centaurans were already a thing.
Yeah, I think they were. Hold on.
I think they already were a thing. I'm like, someone's a Doctor Who fan over in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what is Toad Goemon's plan? What is he doing?
Let's see. First appearance, The Time Warriors, 1973. Which was the 11th season.
Yeah. So the Centaurans were okay.
Yeah. During the John Pertwee era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely someone was a Doctor Who fan in Toei. They saw the Centaurans, they're like, we must do that. He looks like a frog.
So a year later, they took one of the Centauran suits and made some changes to it.
And what a change they did.
Yeah.
Not I'm like, if you were to tell me this is based off of Goemon, I'm like, you're high, dude. You're drunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't see it. But
I feel like Lord Gore from the Kingdom of Crooked Mirrors would have looked like a better interpretation of an anthropomorphic frog than this guy.
Yeah.
And yes, dwarf is frog spelled backwards. Sorry, Gorf is frog spelled backwards.
Sounds like something like after you eat too much Korean barbecue and you're just like, hear me out. I got the meat sweats. All right.
Yes. Lord Gorf and Lady Ekans.
What does Ekans say? What is Ekans spelled backwards?
Yes.
I don't know. No, we do.
Yes.
We're just not going to.
What I don't get is why is her dad Ed-Tyke? That's kite spelled backwards. But yeah. Anyways, it was one crazy kids movie, okay? In the Soviet Union, we've had very trippy kids movies. If you've ever seen the live action Soviet Pinocchio, there's some trippy ass scenes in there. Like even like the cricket is like a minor character. Very, very minor. But the design of it looked like something out of 90s Kamen Rider.
Yep. But yeah. So what is Toad Goemon's plan, Michael? What is he trying to do?
Well, basically, he wants to capture the scientist that was in that conversation earlier, so he could obtain the secret blueprints to Project Mars.
Put a pin in that one, boys and girls, because this is actually the key point for the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he's trying to capture the. I'm not saying that Goemon was not an excellent tracker. He was, but didn't mean he always caught something. He usually caught himself, supposedly.
Yeah, by crazy coincidence, that scientist's daughter happens to be friends with Kisuke Jin because Kisuke is friends with all kinds of small children. But the little girl is approached by a mysterious man in what's called Blues Brothers suit, and he's like, if you want your dad to stay alive, you better stay
Jim
silent.
Belushi, is that you? Did you finally come out from revealing that you were in hoodwinked?
Dan Aykroyd? Wait, the other one was Dan Aykroyd, wasn't it?
It was Dan Aykroyd, but also it was no, Jim Belushi was his brother. Who was that? I forget who was that. It was Belushi. It was definitely that, but I don't remember his name.
Blues Brothers. Oh yeah, no, yeah, it was Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi.
Yeah, Johnny, good old Johnny. I mean, we referenced his brother just because, but for some reason, and so I mean they haven't caught the scientist, but they're threatening his daughter and saying, if you say anything to Kisuke Jin, we'll kill your dad. I'm like, you guys don't even have him. She don't know that. Okay, well, what is she gonna do to make her dad appear? He's not gonna put his daughter in danger. You wouldn't think. But this is a Kamen Rider show, and a Kamen Rider show in the 70s. We must have a death. Even if it's not one that's very heart wrenching.
Yeah.
I felt nothing. I really didn't feel it, but I'm like, so Kisuke Jin saves this little girl. It's like what? I want to say 9-10 years old.
Yeah.
Saves her, but couldn't save her father. So many dads die in this show.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing about the dads is
I feel sorry for the child. Your father would rather be dead than take care of you. Damn, that is tragic. What a complete jackass.
Yeah. Because the worst thing of it is that he dies, but he gives his daughter a locket that she doesn't know has a piece of the equation for this machine that God wants.
So he tore up the blueprints into 8 pieces and put one of them into the locket.
Yeah.
The other 7 pieces got scattered into the wind.
Yeah. I'm like, what how fast? Who sent these out? Like, because again, it's like this is the first time we're hearing about it. I'm like, okay. And then next thing you know, you're like, wait, you're telling me that later on, other scientists have these pieces. So you're telling me that this God affiliated scientist, because he was working for God, had outside sources that are against God?
We are a secret club because of our agenda. It is a dark agenda. It is an agenda some other clubs may not agree with.
I would check your security, God, really, because I'm like, man.
I mean, considering the only reason that Mako and Chico got involved into all of this in the first place was because Cronus accidentally switched boxes while bumping into Mako.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, so how did, I mean, he did it, but I'm like, yeah, he sent them into the wind, and they apparently go to the scientists that are against God, but this guy was working for God. Let's not think about it too much. That's like wondering, the continuity or the existence of Godzilla in the 70s. It was pretty much just like, no, keep going. We know he died, but he's alive still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, yeah, he gives it to his daughter. Don't you think the poor girl has gone through enough?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm going to put my daughter in danger because it's the 70s and she's got to grow up sometime. So,
yeah. So, we got another fight with Toad Goemon, who does track the scientists, and, it goes about the way you always expect it to. For some reason, Toad Goemon shoots some kind of thing out of his head, some kind of oil out of his head. It's like, I get it. The original Goemon was boiled in oil.
Yeah.
But the way he shoots out from his head is very
yeah, he shoots out oil, but he also shoots out fire, which I'm like, a lot of people are like, wait, what are you talking about? Again, look, we're not saying that. Well, here's the thing also. Maybe you guys, anyone fan of Naruto? Anyone fan of Kaku Ranger? Because we do have a character that exists in Japanese lore along the same as Goemon that was infamous or famous for using frogs, and that was Jiraiya.
Yeah.
And there's many stories with Jiraiya where he summons frogs and uses the secretions that they use, like toad oil, that is very flammable to the point that they could even secrete it, vomit it, and he could use like fire to make it like one giant blowtorch.
Yep.
So seeing Toad Goemon using like oil and using like his fingers to shoot out like a flamethrower type of thing, I'm like, you guys are referencing Jiraiya here, not Goemon. Goemon never did anything like that. I mean,
but of course, Toad Goemon uses the what's called Government of Darkness secret technique of rolling into a ball while caught on fire and rolling towards the main character.
They really want to get their money's worth with that thing, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, like, Apollo Geist did it.
And it didn't work with him, so what makes you think it's going to work now?
Because you are my elite warrior, Goemon. Not like that loser Apollo Geist.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did it work?
Yeah. Yeah. So, he defeats Goemon, and like the father and daughter are still alive and happy and have their full lives ahead of them, are celebrating when all of a sudden the dad finds a tomahawk on his back.
Yeah. What the I'm like, wait, what? Like, yeah, he did. Like, oh, we're walking.
So I get that Scorpion Geronimo threw that tomahawk from the roof of another building, but the thing is, they're inside a closed building. How, did it even get on his back to begin with without even making any noise?
He's got the power of a devil fruit.
Oh, what? Like he's got a shadow jump, like Logia type.
No, he's got Vanderdecken's devil fruit.
Yeah.
I know people like Vanderdecken. Who the fuck? I know you probably don't remember Vanderdecken, but he was the guy that was obsessed with Shirahime and on Fishman Island. Remember that. He has the ability to target and shoot anything towards the person. Whatever
Heck, I'll raise you. You could have done Bluto from CP9. He can make doors from anywhere.
The door fruit, but it's just like he would have to have like opened a door to make it happen. Where this is like there was no door, no portal. It just kind of boom and hit him right in the back, and it's a tomahawk of all things.
Okay, how about Trafalgar Law's Devil Fruit?
Room. No, because that would actually it would affect the things in said room, not outside of it.
Okay.
But he could transport, it is possible. But then again, his devil fruit is very, very broken. So
yeah.
It's like, wait, I thought you couldn't do that. No, I can. I thought no, I can.
Still my favorite character.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love him too, but certain actions as they are now, I'm kind of like, Law, I'm not too happy with you right now.
I wouldn't know. I only got as far as Dressrosa.
Yeah, well, keep loving him for right now. But yeah, the scientist dies because random tomahawk, and I'm like, oh man, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. We didn't really like, cringe too much at these 2 episodes because of their because of who they were.
Because the worst we've seen so far was the hot glued mustache.
Yeah, I mean, Goemon again just looks like a freaking baked potato. That's pretty much it. Not a lot, especially since it's a fictional character.
Yeah.
Now we're getting who it's based off of, all right, but it's not who it's based off of. It's how you went about it. And again, look, it's Japan, okay? I've been to Australia, I've been to New Zealand, I've been to China, to Japan, and their whole thing about Native Americans and whatnot, even still to this day. I mean, they don't have Native Americans, so they're just going on what they know or what they think they know.
Yeah.
And
so our next monster of the day is Scorpion Geronimo, which, again, from the waist up, doesn't look too bad in design.
It's
waist down.
It's what he also does. For us to give you properly what is going to happen, we will have to, in some way, reference or maybe do it. So please forgive us. This is just for context of this story. Every time I saw this thing on screen, what did we always hear?
Yeah.
What? Every time, every moment he was on screen, there was always a somewhat cartoony Indian war cry that was done. I was like, you know what? I'm like,
and surprisingly, that's not the most uncouth thing about
that's
this.
Not the no. Wait, it gets better. The design of him is, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I like how they kind of incorporated a totem type of look to him, and I'm like
how it's some of the scorpion legs kind of look like a chief headdress.
It's literally a chief's headdress, which I'm like, okay, that's actually very well thought. You didn't just slap on a headdress on him. You used the body. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But waist down.
No bueno.
No. You want to tell the people I can't.
Lazy design, and as lazy as the design is, it's also pretty not very couth.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, and again, I'm like, here's the thing. I mean, you thought that the Cal Art, the rejects from Cal Art couldn't sink any lower.
Yeah, no, they're straight up dressed like Native Americans
They're
here.
dressed like straight up.
Like remember how in episode 15 and 16, like they were wearing gis and boxing shorts like outside of their Cal Art uniforms.
Yeah.
Now imagine they wore like Party City Native American outfits on top of that.
Yeah, with the head, with the one feather, the tribal makeup, doing the war cry.
And one of them, in their completely human form, was just entirely like a Native American.
The Fiends attacking the Boy Scouts of America. Yeah, did you know we have Boy Scouts in this episode too? I wonder what that's a reference to. Well, if John Wayne were here, he would say that they were a reference to them cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in Japan, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
There were no cowboys in Japan. We wouldn't get a cowboy in Japan until Kaku Ranger.
Well, technically, Battle Fever J had a Russian cowboy. Not that it makes any sense, because...
Were there cowboys in Russia?
Нет, там не было ковбоев в Советском Союзе.
I have no idea what the hell he just said.
It's exactly what you think it said.
Yeah. For some reason, these scouts have a piece of the equation.
Yep, because turns out Mako is relevant to this episode for once.
Yay!
Still no clue why Chico's here.
Again, we can't have it be a sausage fest, Mike.
Right, but yeah. And heck, if you even think about it, Chico's not even in this episode for the entire first half.
Yeah, she comes in later. She's like, hey, I'm here. I finally showed up.
Yeah, sorry I'm late. I was busy dealing with girl stuff this week, probably.
Yeah. But, yeah. Please continue. Not much to say, but...
Not much to say. There's a little boy who sees like a Native American smoke signal. And by the way, he's got a Red Sox hat on, so it's like, oh, that's cute.
That's cute.
Yeah, that's cute. And then they get attacked by a bunch of Native Americans. Well, like their scout leader gets impaled by an arrow into the arm.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah,
they're
all dressed. Like they're all in their civilian outfits, dressed up as Native Americans. Some of them even shirtless. But the craziest part is one of the Native Americans. Even though I'm not physically doing air quotes, I am mentally doing air quotes. Pretend Star Platinum's right next to me doing air quotes for me, and you just simply can't see a stand, so that's why you don't see the air quotes. Like one of them like shoots an arrow at Kisuke, and then like he just grabs it and throws it back at him with enough force that the arrow impales the dude. I'm like, who needs a bow and arrow when you could be a cyborg?
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, literally, I to me, this episode again, the Kaijin's pretty cool in what he's doing, but how does this relate to getting that charge cable for King Dark?
Not at all, because one of the boys happens to have a piece of the puzzle.
Why? I thought you sent it off to the scientists. Is this young boy a prodigy? Is he Doogie Howser? Is he Dexter?
Doesn't matter, really. But what's really weird is how Scorpion Geronimo's holding an adult and a kid hostage, and he's whacking the two of them with the tomahawk, but he's not like cutting them. It's like he's using the tomahawk as a blunt object. And like I would have at least given the credit if like the blade of the tomahawk was facing away from their body on Moment of Impact, so they're only getting hit by the
it's
shaft.
literally, like,
But no,
he's like,
the actual blade of the tomahawk is like, "You stupid hostage." It's not even cutting their bodies off. It's like, is your tomahawk as plastic as your Halloween costume?
yeah. And he continues on with the war cries. Why with the war cries? I mean,
And like they even shoot burning arrows into the little building that they're
you're
stowed away into.
you're trying to kill the people. So burning arrows into a cabin.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, it's the most base thing God has ever done in the season so far. Yeah, I mean, sure, you're ripping off Hunchback of Notre Dame, but like at least you're doing something that is legitimately threatening instead of just turning people into cats with tusks.
hell, I was like, do not tell me you're gonna make people into totems. Do not go into anything other than what you are, Geronimo. Which, for most people, do we know much of Geronimo? I don't know too much about him.
He fought against some of the American militaries.
I mean,
definitely not Custard though, because that was Sitting Bull. But
he was up there. He was kind of like the native hitman. Like he was that guy that it's like most people remember as like, yeah, he was a warrior. He was a badass. That's all I've ever known of him.
Yeah, so they have a quick fight scene. He defeats Scorpion Geronimo, but the blueprints get retrieved by a mysterious rhinoceros beetle. And yes, Chico did not appear at all in this episode.
Nope. But what did Mako do in this episode?
Conveniently have a piece of the puzzle for no reason, but I guess her parents are dead. But
also, this is not the first time we've seen rhinoceros beetles in this show.
Yeah,
it's like we saw them earlier, and you're telling me the whole time that we've had that rhinoceros beetle Lupin. These are his beetles.
Yep. Pretty.
Beware the beetle, people.
Yes.
Beware
the Beatles. Yes. So, okay. So here's where I need to start addressing some stuff. Okay, so until such time Discotech releases the Blu-rays, the means in which one is able to watch Kamen Rider X with subtitles is very limited.
I didn't have a hard time.
It's still limited, and let's just say once upon a time, for people to watch Kamen Rider with subtitles, there will be multiple different people who do their own iterations of the subtitles for the greater good of the community. Yeah, there were a lot of them back then. So much so that even when Linkar did his very first Super Sentai review, he was told, he addressed that he was told, use this group subtitles versus that group subtitles and so on. And let's just say that there's so much limitations with Kamen Rider X that you won't have one singular group doing all 35 episodes. In order to watch all 35 episodes, whether you do the Kazuk way or the Bay way, you're gonna use the same 3 sub groups for the same 3 batches of episodes. So like the first batch of episodes was made by one group, like they used hard subs, and then this next group of episodes, which goes up to I think episode 20 or 21, it's not as stylized as the first group, but it's still serviceable. And then you have this third one where they use soft subtitles, which means that you need the subtitles as a separate file compared to the actual videos, and regardless of how you watch the episodes, the same 3 segments of the show will be using the same 3 different groups of people for those respective segments. So this is where problems start happening in terms of subtitles. Because this third group, not a very good job. One particular QR mistake in the Scorpion Geronimo episode is there's a brief moment where someone says, "Look out, it's Scorpion Geronimo," but the subtitles say, "Look out, it's Scorpion Goemon."
Yeah. Well, I didn't have that problem, but still.
I wish I could say that this was the worst of it, but unfortunately, no. The worst of it is in episode 25, which is a darn shame because this is one of the better monsters of the day in this episode. And I looked at the source that this guy used, and yeah, same problem. Subtitles not tracking properly. They're about a whole minute ahead of the actual dialogue. So, yeah, I don't know how hard of a hard time you had comprehending the plot of this episode.
I think I got one of the better ones because I didn't have too much hard time with understanding Beetle Lupin and what he was doing.
It's like this. The subtitles for this episode are so poorly executed that it's just easier for you to just turn them off, watch it raw, give your eyes a break, and just get the gist of the episode. And there's really not much to this episode. 2 kids find a temple with a creepy old dude, but turns out this is not the same rabbi from that earlier episode where it's like, oh, he's definitely working with Government of Darkness. No, though he doesn't have a problem roofing kids, though.
Yeah, no, he apparently was one of the scientists that worked on this particular. Like, he has one of the pieces. He has one of the. And again, continuity wise, I'm like, it's one thing if you had done this like a while back and then gave them to these people without them knowing or something. But you're telling me that this guy who has never worked for God knew that they were coming, had a piece, and constructed a whole new way in hiding it. Like, literally inventing a very get a UV light, and there you go. But for the 70s, that was pretty advanced.
Yeah. If anyone's familiar with Rush Hour 3, basically he pulled a Rush Hour 3.
He did. He also pulled a Full Metal Alchemist in terms of like, I know they're going to come after me. I have to hide this, but I can't hide it in the most typical, usual places. I have to be creative in where I hide it. And where could I hide it? I'll give it to someone without them knowing they have it. Or they do. They are aware that they have it. It's just that they're going to keep it secret.
Yeah.
Because these 2 little boys are playing. They break his window. He's not mad, but he roofies them.
And then he prints the Mars blueprints.
Tattoos on their backs.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
You know that whole thing in Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood? Yeah. Or even if you read the manga, where Armstrong was looking for the ultimate thing to do with fire alchemy, and he went to Hawkeye's dad, who literally was like, I guess, a flame alchemist himself. But
that's manga only.
Yeah, he didn't want that secret to get out, So he died, and well, it turns out he gave it to his daughter, which was Hawkeye, but he tattooed it on her back. Or he kind of singed it on her back that she knows it's there, but she just, again, like, try to interrogate her, try to find that. You're never going to find it unless you strip her down. These kids, on the other hand, you roofie them, you wake them up, you give them candy. Bye, kids. Take care of yourselves. If you see some CalArts students chasing after you, well, good luck. But, well, I mean, what are they going to do? They can't say. They don't even know what the hell happened. But you put them in harm's way. Okay. Responsible adults. But yeah, Gene Kisuke apparently figures out because of some random photo of who this guy is that tries to track him down, only for Beetle Lupin to be like using his beetles to use as a spy tool, you know?
Which makes sense.
Which, how common are rhinoceros beetles to be found in Japan? Not very much. You couldn't have used like a ladybug or a common insect, rhinoceros beetles? Look at this boy. This is literally a 1-to-1 scale of what a rhinoceros beetle is.
Yep.
How covert is that? I'm like, you couldn't have put a tracking device or a thing on a button again? No, we have to use beetles because Beetle Lupin, I'll say I did enjoy his look. He even had the monocle just like...
Yeah, so I will say this. One of the things I hate about the subtitle sucking for this episode is because of the sheer fact that Beetle Lupin's actually one of the best monster designs in the second half.
They really did. They really went all out with who he was, especially kind of making, even though it's like, well, how I saw it, how I read, some people said Beetle Lupin is talking with a, like, if a Japanese person was using a French accent. And I can, like, I kind of hear it.
Yeah.
I don't know Japanese very well, but I'm like, that doesn't sound typically how you would say that. But, yeah, stereotypical evil Frenchman, even twirling his mustache while he's... he's waterboarding a kid. He actually finds one of the kids
and
because they found out that, you know, these kids were in the house. So, they must have, you know, these are the droids you're looking for.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, one of the boys is literally hung upside down and tortured.
Yep.
We could torture children.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these wonderful times we live in. Mm-hmm. But nothing. The kid knows nothing. He ain't saying nothing. And if you kill him, then there goes your secret because you think he knows something when he doesn't know anything. It's a conundrum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's not like Jason from Tokyo Ghoul is there to just break his finger and tell him to count by sevens from 1,000 to 0.
You know, I'm not a fan of Tokyo Ghoul. I'm going to be very honest. I didn't like it. I thought it was boring. I thought, like, the whole thing about, it's such a goth anime. I'm like, where, dude? Where is it?
Emo at best, but not goth.
Don't give me it's edgy. Don't give me. I'm like, I could give you something even more edgier than
my name's not Kaneki anymore. It's Kaneji.
Yeah, but the thing is that I was like, you know what? That part where what's his face was getting tortured, you know, like breaking his teeth, snapping fingers, peeling his fingernails and everything. I was like, oh man, you know, I have seen some shit in my life. I have seen things that could make you turn white. And I'm like, but the thing, you tell us these stories, you tell us what this is for you, Steven, but you can't see someone like lose a fingernail or see a fingernail get ripped off or seeing, like, you know, like getting a hammer and chisel and then just go like that to someone's mouth. No, I can't do it. I have seen people get torn apart. I have seen the most heinous ways, but a tooth or a nail, that's where I draw the line apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, poor kid. But where's the other kid? He's at the pool.
Yeah.
With Gene Kisuke and the girls, just
Mm-hmm.
But I guess because being in the pool and also being out and about shirtless, his Yakuza tattoo appears on his back. No one gave him crap for going into a public pool with tattoos. I don't know what the hell they gave me problems. No, they didn't give me any problems.
Yeah.
But I'm like, So apparently a UV light is able to show us the tattoo that, the doctor was hiding, which is a part of the plan for this charger for King Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Do the bad guys find out about this? No.
No.
Because Gene Kisuke apparently knows where they've been waterboarding this kid for the past 2 hours and hasn't done jack about it until he finally figures it out himself.
Yeah.
I will say though, the battle with Beetle Lupin was actually kind of entertaining because
like I love how Beetle Lupin throws his hat and it marginally hits one of the CalArts students in the head and his head falls completely off
on the forehead, ladies and gentlemen. The sheer force of that was able to decapitate him from the neck down.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Cue the decapitation you get from Fatal Instinct, or cue the Austin Powers random task moment.
Yeah.
Just take off the shoe and just who throws a shoe? Really? Yeah. Who throws a hat? Although I love how he's like, Kamen Rider, get ready for my guillotine hat. He misses and hits his crony instead. I'm like, okay. Mortal Kombat did it a lot better.
Yeah.
But I still say it's very
at least with Mortal Kombat, it's a clean cut.
Yeah, I say it's a very interesting fight because not only does the Kamen Rider we get fight on the ground on roofs and jumping around and stuff but it's also people henchmen are dying and it's all super
yeah, and he even pulls out a rapier, so the two of them are fencing each other. Which is right.
We finally have some fencing action. Apollo had a sword but never used it.
Yeah, freaking even Beetle Lupin uses his cape as a diversion and spends the rest of the episode only having his vest on.
And it's Apollo had a sword, had a cape, had all this stuff, and he only used the guns. I was like, then why do you carry around a shield and sword then?
Yeah.
We never had
he even throws the shield only once in the entire episode.
Yeah. So I'm just here I'm we have an actual swordsman's battle between the Kamen Rider and the actual incarnation of a famous French thief in the body of a rhinoceros beetle.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination. Again, with the whole Genghis Condor thing, because he's doing the whole vampire thing, they may as well done Dracula Khan, Dracula Khan, Genghis Khan, and Were Lupin, because his werewolf Lupin, because Lupin means
we already had our furry
French.
episode.
Yeah, so I know we had a furry episode, but the thing is, it would have still worked. But as far as combining historical figures and one fictional one with random animals, I have to say Beetle Lupin is one of the better ones, which is more than I can say for the next guy we're going to be talking about, but we're not quite there yet.
Here's the thing, though. We have this whole rider kick, and you get knocked off the building, and it didn't finish him off. What finished him off was the Kamen Rider took the hat, threw it down, and it just
beheaded
him and blew him up. And I was like,
now that's style.
okay, not the rider. Well, maybe the rider kick was delayed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But okay, and then of course, King Dark is like, he was all talk. I should never have believed him. I should have never. Didn't you make him? Didn't you? I mean, this is on you, King Dark. Don't be looking at him like you're the one who made these freaks. Don't freaking tell me like, oh, you know, it reminds me of like the Ninja Turtles, where like wherever Krang or Shredder would send like, you know, Bebop or Rocksteady or whomever, they would be mad that they failed. I'm like, you made these guys.
Wait, hold on. I got you. This. You did not fail. You failed. You've all failed, just like you failed before. Oh man, why can I not do it right now? Hold on. I usually do I did not fail. You failed. You all failed, just like you failed before.
You'd always hear Krang in the back and go, Shredder. You failed me, Shredder. Like, this was your plan, you damn glop of whatever the hell you are. So your plan failed because you failed. And we get to see our next Kaijin right before the narrator speaks, and I'm just like,
yeah. So you know, they're in the coffee shop, they're discussing, oh yeah, those two kids, they're getting their tattoos removed. But listening, but if you pan to the side of that scientist's room, we see them being tracked by an Echinodermata.
I seriously thought it was another rhinoceros beetle. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's an asteroida.
Yeah.
And like, so our next monster is an asteroida crossed with.
It's a starfish, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, this is a whole. Is this the Krusty Krab? No, this is Patrick. But I wish it was Patrick.
I wish it was Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, here we go.
I wish it was Tommy's father from Pokemon.
I wish it was J. Jonah Jameson.
I wish it was Abbott from Abbott and Costello.
One moment. We're at war, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Because turns out King Dark has an ace up his sleeve, and his ace in the hole is Starfish Hitler.
Oh, hell no! 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 Oh, hell no!
Oh, hell no.
Certainly is, ladies and gentlemen. It 100% is the Führer.
Yeah. Okay, let's try this.
And yes, that is actual metal.
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay, so let's get right into it.
And again, before anyone gets on us, I'm like, well, Steven, historically, this show even goes off and says we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. Even Germany says we don't talk about that. Well, we do, but you know.
Yeah. You know what I really hate is how, like, you know, once in a while you get and like, honestly, I really hate modern politics. I hate talking about modern politics. But one thing I really hate is when on social media someone posts an image of Kamen Rider, you know, wanting to fight Nazis, which is fine on its own, you know, because like, you know, that's what Kamen Rider does. He fights Nazis. But the thing is, the problem's not with the post itself. The problem is with the comment section, because once in a while you get a meme about Kamen Rider fighting Nazis, like he always does, and someone writes, it's like, why are you bringing this woke nonsense into Kamen Rider? I'm like, excuse me?
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
What are you talking about?
Excuse me.
Woke. The only woke we are is right now. Awake. Okay? You're gonna tell me that, oh, we don't like what's this woke? This is technically where it started, but technically also the shocker grunts did the with a certain hand gesture that we cannot do or you shouldn't do.
It's like this.
You know, I mean, you
like
had
modern,
in Jacka. In Jacka,
like,
we also had another reference to the Führer.
It's like, for me, it's like this. Okay, so American politics, very messy. Now, and discussing political issues, very messy. Now, historically, in the last 5 years, it's a fair assessment to say that Japanese shows pretty good at discussing American politics. American shows don't have as good of a track record
because we pussyfoot around everything because we're so afraid.
It's not even that. It's like American TV shows don't have subtlety. Like freaking like Black Sun discusses modern American politics pretty well. Supergirl, not so much.
The thing is that again, they don't want to lose revenue. They don't want, because again, telling the truth, just like anything, telling the truth, being honest doesn't make you money.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I can agree with the idea of not wanting to shoehorn modern politics in a way that lacks subtlety. I get that.
Subtlety got thrown out the window.
But the whole Kamen Rider fighting Nazis thing, that ain't it, fam. That ain't it, fam. Here, they actually are fighting actual Nazis.
They're fighting Nazis. They're fighting Nazi Pazzies.
Like, it's established since the first episode that Shocker are surviving members of the German Socialist Worker Party, and the survivors managed to crawl their way to Japan and start their own new organization. Even Dr. Shinigami's half Swiss. That's canon.
Like, I mean, look, history be what history may be, but I'm like, even Japan is like, yeah, that was only a certain people who were doing that. It's even the same thing with Germany, where it's just like people more so here in the States, they want to say, oh, Germany. Like, no. It wasn't Germany. It was occupied in Germany.
Yeah.
It was occupied. That means it happened, but that doesn't mean that the entire country was on the side. It's like, no, it's just like today. You can agree and you cannot. You can be with the crowd or you cannot. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, you know how hard how hard it was accepting that Maze Hughes was a member of.
Yeah, did we forget that?
Yeah,
Maze Hughes, best dad in the world.
Yeah,
loves his wife.
He's got a little maze on his pin.
Where's Cotton Hill when you need him?
Yeah. But yeah.
Man.
So I will say this. Kamen Rider punching or kicking, or in this case, kicking Hitler in the face, is not really inserting modern politics. That's just what happened in the actual show. Particularly in this episode, especially in this episode.
There's that famous Captain America comic where he's punching Hitler square in the jaw.
Yeah, if anything, like
there were comic books that Batman fought against the Nazis.
Yeah. Again, like a lot of the complaint that a lot of people have with the whole America Chavez punching Hitler in the face isn't the fact that she punched Hitler in the face. It's the fact that she stole the punch from Captain Rogers.
Yeah. So it's like, bro,
yeah.
We know who's supposed to do that. The embodiment of America, we don't give up. Again, remember, even during that time, what did Americans say? We don't give up.
Yeah.
We keep going. We keep pushing forward through the tough times. And we have to remember that. We must push through difficult times because that's what Americans do. We don't give up. But when you decide to take that away and give it to someone else, I was like, wait, who's this person?
Yeah,
Who's
that's what it's like. And again, it's the problem is not the fact that he's being punched. It's who's the one doing the punching.
Who's the one who did it? It's like, you want to see the embodiment of a, well, couldn't the embodiment be this person? Not when it's already been established that it's supposed to be. Imagine if Han Solo killed Darth Vader instead of Luke.
Mm-hmm.
You would be mad about that. You'd be like, "What? No, that's not how it's supposed to go." I'm like, "Well, modern interpretation, I guess." But the thing is that yes, the Führer, the man himself, they made him taller in this episode, though.
Yes, they did.
He was not that tall when he was,
in real life. No.
Napoleon complex. Adolf, I think, was only
which is ironic because Napoleon's 5'7". He's relatively tall.
Napoleon Bonaparte is actually taller than the Führer.
Yeah,
look it up. I'm not lying, but they made him taller because again, this was the most heinous figure in the past 20 years because again, this was in the 70s.
In the past 30 years.
And even still to this day, even though we've had, several figures appear, still to this day, I'm like, nope, no one has taken the crown off of Adolf in years. Despite what, has happened, he still holds the crown of being the biggest dick in the world. So
yeah,
the fact that, he's here, and man, did they really get his face on this thing right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so let's just try to speed run through the plot of this episode. So there's a professor from the United States visiting Japan, and turns out for some reason, Mako and Chico are familiar with him for some reason, because of course they would be, because why else would they be in the show? But of course they don't recognize. But of course the professor doesn't recognize them, and a bunch of paparazzi just shove them into a car for them to drive off, where Mako and Chico are greeted by a group of hippies. It's 1974. Hippies still exist, so that checks out.
They're very chill. I could have sworn it was Tommy Chong.
Yeah. So yeah, it turns out the paparazzi that basically drove off with the professor are Cal Art students, which are now sporting red armbands.
The youth league. The Fiends.
The Fiends. I get it.
And if you don't know what
Jojo Rabbit, but still, at what ethnic supremacist cost? But yeah, no. It turns out they're attacked by Starfish Hitler, and yes, unfortunately, he's back.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Oh, he's back, baby. Although, I don't think this is the way he wanted to come back.
Yeah.
I'm like, he would have been like, you couldn't have made me into a bear or a puma, maybe a lion.
Or a lion, or an eagle, or...
You had to make me into, well, I mean, despite how they may look and how they are, starfishes are actually very predatory and very violent creatures.
Yeah. And if you want to make it, and it's even more creepy is that their mouth and their oral cavity and their anal cavity are both the same cavity, and it's on their abdomen.
And when he talks shit, he really talks shit.
Yeah. So, he kidnaps the scientist, who turns out to be a decoy. Turns out the hippies were the scientists all along. But no, nine, we will interrogate these two in order to figure out who the real scientist is, because he must have the real plans.
They were literally imitating the Führer 100% throughout this whole episode. Exactly how he would, how we see him in films and documentaries, kind of nasally and saying 99999. Hell, he was shooting his subordinate.
And then in the forest, Kisuke gets attacked by a giant foam sea star that's able to levitate. He struggles to wrestle it off,
It's
and
on
then
my Instagram, folks. If you want to
and
go take
then
a look at the
it
story.
explodes, revealing his full body down to the unfinished maze on his chest. See, that's a community reference.
My God. Because the thing is, we hadn't seen the Fuhrer's full body until this point, and I'm like, ooh, yeah. That's definitely you.
He even does the full Roman salute.
That's you. That's definitely you. You got the Roman salute. You got the Meiji kind of backwards and slanted. You even have the boots and the hat, and I mean, I think it was also made by Gucci to be historically accurate.
Yeah, and yes, the CalArts students are wearing full recreation suits.
Here, I thought the Native American stuff was bad, but here we've gone full on Third Reich.
Today it's theater night, and the play of the semester is none other than Mel Brooks's The Producers.
Oh my God! I was like, man, they really got into this one. But it kind of reminded me of a video that was going around a while back of an old German meeting where this comedian was doing chants and things like to get the people hyped up, and he says the whole, he does the whole like, ziggy zaggy, blah blah blah, and then he says sig, and then the entire crowd says, insert what you know, and it's like, and this was in the 80s, so I'm like, some of you old boys are still out there, huh?
Well, what's really weird is that in 1981 there's a high school teacher that, as a social experiment, basically brainwashed students into becoming Nazis. Mind you, the teacher himself is anti-Nazi. He just wanted to prove a point because one of the students asked him, like, how did people become so okay with the Nazi ideology? Why was everyone okay with? Yeah, it's not that hard, and the teacher proved his point.
It's not. If you open your eyes and take a look at today, you'll be like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, really, and then there was a movie based on that experiment. It's a 40-minute film, and the actor who played the teacher was the same actor who played Reverend Paris in. Was it Paris? I think it was Paris. What's it called? Abigail Williams' uncle in the film adaptation of The Crucible. The one where Winona Ryder plays Abigail. Yeah, that's the one. Anyways, and again, Boom Boomger, Disrace only brainwashed 3 people. He didn't brainwash the entire crowd. He only brainwashed 3 people.
I want to know. I haven't seen all of Boom Boomger yet.
Anyways,
so they make this starfish despicable in this episode. Like, you thought like, Beetle Lupin was just crafty and kind of a dick. This is the dick. Like the Starfish Adolf doesn't care. He's shooting everybody and anybody. His grunts. Innocent people. He is literally a monster let loose.
Yeah, he don't care. Powerful course.
He don't care. Hell, he would probably shoot King Dark if he sassed off to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like the scientists dress up as a hippie. They have a beach day. A bunch of asteroids are spying, and then you got a waiter who's also a disguised officer.
He had his own submarine.
Yep. Yeah, you thought Diva Talks was devious.
Why the hell did you need a submarine? You're a starfish.
Yeah. So, X infiltrates his base. They have a fight on shore. And, they wrestle it out one last time. And, he gives one last Zig Heil to hell.
He gives off
high water.
He gives off an Elon Musk goodbye. Yeah. And explodes.
Yes, with Kisuke wrapped around his tendrils, which again Tachibana thinks Kisuke's dead, but of course he's not dead. It's like, did you learn nothing from his fight against Apollo Geist? And of course they retrieved the bracelet with the plans.
Yeah, like that didn't kill him. You really think this rejected art student is gonna kill the Kamen Rider? No, he's not. Although I will say, despite historical accuracies, Starfish Hitler went off more badass than the actual Hitler did.
Yeah,
he went down like what most people would assume he did, which isn't true.
He went out like a punk,
as always. But I think we said that in another review, that goes out like punks.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
but yes,
we have the bracelet with the Mars component in there. So now we move on to the next episode next week, and by next week I mean in 2 weeks, because next week we're discussing the movie.
Are we at the movie now?
We're now at the movie.
All right.
That's right. Next week we're discussing Kamen Rider X the movie. 5 Riders versus King Dark.
Not Hanuman versus the 5 Riders and King Dark?
I wish.
Bote Sands, you devious SOB.
Yeah.
But again, if you know that reference, ladies and gentlemen, no, we're not doing the Hanuman. We're doing the actual legit movie.
Yes.
As legit it can get.
Yes. Yes. The movie's only 30 minutes, but it's still a movie. So, and just like the movie,
stretch it out for like 2 hours.
Yeah. Like I'm curious, are we gonna pad out a 30-minute film into 2 hours?
Nah, probably not. I mean, these 70s movies were just like as plain as day, but we'll see.
Yeah. It's like one of those theaters where it's like you have little drawings. It's like once upon a time, there was a guy on a motorcycle, and an organization kidnapped him, turned him into a cyborg.
Yeah.
So he fought back against him. But then there was a second guy, and then a third and a fourth guy, and then there was a fifth guy, and then the 5 of them fought against King Dark. The end.
Yeah.
But that's it for episodes 22 through 26.
Our final thoughts on these episodes.
No politically correcto.
No, but they were entertaining as hell.
I will say this: it's not the worst thing I've seen this week, because all over Instagram, you've got the same thing over and over again: man to woman, or woman to man to woman. Okay.
Can we just get to the Super Bowl and declare the Chiefs the champions already? Like something. That's why I was like, you know what? Watching these episodes, I know a lot of people have wrote to me and be like, "You're finally there."
You're finally at that episode.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was like, yeah, can we just get to episode 26? Well, I'm like, no, I had fun watching the rest of these, despite how underwhelming Genghis Khan Condor and Toad Goemon were. I'm like, out of those two, I'm like, no, those two were the worst. Those two were like they not even. When you get down to Beetle Lupin and Scorpion Geronimo, that was like, okay, this has somewhat of a gravitas to it.
Yeah.
And those were more entertaining. Finally we get to the Führer. And it's exactly how I thought it would go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're going to get in trouble for it.
I'm actually impressed we didn't mention up to this point that, this was number 2 in TJ Omega's top 10 Kamen Rider WTFs.
Well, it's kind of like the what the F moment that should be said in media in general. I mean, a lot of people are like, wait a minute, why was Hitler here? I'm like, Hitler has appeared in several other properties in Japan just randomly. I actually found an entire video online about random, I think it was called Random Hitler Cameos in Japanese Anime. There are a lot.
Yeah,
And
I will say this. In Full Metal Alchemist, considering that the movie takes place during the Munich Beer Hall Rebellion in 1928, I'm surprised that the most visual appearance the Fuhrer has ever made was just in a flyer at the end of the movie.
Well, there was one.
He was name dropped, but you don't actually see his face
he was
in the end credits.
I could have sworn that he was shown, like briefly, like very
on a poster. No,
yeah, I saw
at the end of the episode, at the end of the movie.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that and get back to you because I could have sworn that he made a cameo. Even though, like, again, Helsing, even though, like, we don't deal with him, it is technically part of his work. Even though technically no one from the Millennium had any connections to him. This was not.
Yeah, no. Millennium were basically like Hydra, where it's like they were part of the party, but they were like an occult offshoot that did not agree with Hitler himself. They were just along for the ride, just to siphon off his resources in order to do their own independent research. And yes, even Vandal Savage from Savage Times did the same thing. It's like, hey, I'm you from the future. Listen, first thing you got to do, get rid of Adolf. Like, he is a bad leader. Like you would be a better leader for the German party instead.
Look up any document. I mean, straight up documentaries about and how people have said, like, if not him, but so and so was in charge,
it would have been worse.
It would have been worse.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, the what if scenarios. But again, I mean, it is a character that we strive not to have happen anymore.
Yeah.
So hopefully it does. So
hopefully more people like him won't be around or with enough power to do the same level of damage that he did.
Let us hope not.
Yes. So scoring the episodes.
I give the first two a 6 because they're just, they're not as entertaining. But everything after that, I give them all 8s.
I would agree with you, but I would give a 6.5 to Toad Goemon just because that's when, like, we finally have some actual plot happen.
Well, yeah. I guess you could also I guess you could give it like another 5 points on me for that because now we have a plot point, a goal that we are trying to avert or trying to make on our side. So
yes, and Beetle Lupin, I would have given him a 9 if there was some quality control being done on the fan side of things because I really liked the design. It was one of the best fights in the entire season, and I wish we got to do more with that. But let's leave episode 26 to rest because I don't want to speak much more on that episode. We discussed it. We're done with it.
Yeah.
We got 8 more.
As the great late Mel Blanc, who had done Looney Tunes throughout his whole career, once said in an interview with Johnny Carson, "That's his calling, my friend."
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, we just got a movie and 9 episodes to go, and we're done with X. So,
Now, what do the people say?
All right, here we go. Oh boy, we finally made it. The episode we've all been waiting for since as far back as Paradise Lost.
Wow, you've been waiting that long? Imagine if we didn't hit X.
Yeah. You'd be waiting for it most 7 years. Oh boy, I can't wait for no politically correcto episodes.
When have we ever stated?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
pretty much like we say as it is. Politically correct. What is that?
Yeah, this is fun. Lol.
Is it?
Okay. Is it? Okay. Yeah, Beetle Lupin was the best design.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That
Yeah.
monocle and that twirly mustache of his.
Yeah. And the hat.
And the hat, the guillotine.
Even better than M. Capone, Spider Bonaparte, and the guy from episode 26. Yeah.
Wow, you're literally saying that Beetle Lupin was at what in terms of design or just in his overall episode plan? Because I'm trying to figure out this comment because I'm like, you know, you can't.
I mean, maybe it's a follow up.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, you can say his name. It's not bad for us to say it. It would be bad if you were like, you know, I agreed with him.
Oh God, no. Oh
no.
God, no.
No. No. You can say his name. You can. It's just that don't say I agree, then put said name.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it.
Yeah, no. And don't say that stuff like well, I'm just not going to repeat some of the stuff I've seen people write on social media. So,
you know,
yeah, no.
we don't deny certain things.
I'm not even going to quote people saying those things.
No, not even. You know what we mean.
Yeah. Like, I'm going like full Scooby-Doo 2 on that when Fred like gets soundbited by saying Coolsville stinks.
Yeah. Imagine how bad it would be if the discotheque uses the bad tracking from the current fan subs. I don't think that
I hope not.
Discotheque is really just like, you know, they have their people. They would not, and can you imagine just taking what some fan site did, ripping it on a Blu-ray and then selling it? Like, they would just be wrecked right afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it, Discotheque. I don't think they would do it.
Don't do it. Because of the Go-Kaio commercial from Bandai America. Ah!
What?
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean by that. I don't know. Okay, Steve, I don't know if you remember, but remember when Super Mega Force was on TV?
Try not to remember such dark times, but yes.
Yeah, so when they had the commercial for the Megazord, they used They didn't just use Gokaiger footage of the Megazord like doing its post for the American toy. They didn't just use Gokaiger footage from the TV show. They used fan subbed footage.
It's what, under Megaforce toy commercials?
Yeah, the Megaforce toy commercial had TVN subtitles at the bottom that said Go-Kaio in the same rainbow font that they're famous for using.
Hang on here. Hang on. Well, so I think I did hear something about that. I believe I never fully saw it, nor did I understand what it was trying to say, but I did hear something about that.
Yeah, so they used fans. They didn't even use raw footage of Gokaiger.
You're talking about the Go-Sager footage or the actual Gokaiger footage?
Gokaiger footage.
And this is for Go-Kaio.
Yeah, so the American toy for Go-Kaio for Super Megaforce, they used a clip from, like, you know how like they have clip from the actual TV show to show what it looks like in the show, as well as the toy footage of what the toy looks like. So for the TV footage, they didn't just use the Japanese footage. They used the Japanese footage with the fan subtitles.
Let's see. I'm finding the keys.
Yeah.
UK. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, wait. Stupid commercials.
Anywho.
Whoa. 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 David. They left the clock on there.
Yeah.
I seriously believe, like, okay, fine, but they left the damn clock on there.
And the subtitles. Alrighty then.
Oh my God, it was worse than we thought.
Yeah, so
I mean, look, I didn't really like Megaforce. I thought, I saw I have a Gokaio, I have all that, but this is that just showed you that they didn't give a damn at all.
yeah. Anywho, if you enjoyed watching us discuss some of these uncouth moments, I've probably used that word more times than Heckle and Snide could ever hope for. Please be sure to comment, follow, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Ding the bell icon to stay notified for our latest videos. On Mondays, we're doing Ultraman X. On Sundays, we're doing Kamen Rider X. Yes, our start and end of the week are both X's. And, of course, we got Kamen Rider Gav on Wednesdays and the penultimate episode of Boom Boomger on Thursday. That's right. We only have 2 episodes of Boom Boomger left before Gojuger makes its debut, and we look forward to discussing those episodes with you here on the Morphin Network. Also, be sure to check out our sister channel, The Buttery Show, where we do various movie reviews. And if you want to follow us on our personal content, where can the people find you?
I know. Thank you, everyone, for following me on IG. Thank you for sending your messages. And I'll be waiting to see what you guys have to say about what we talked about today.
Yeah. And you can find me on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. And with all that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to stay safe, stay hydrated, up to your emergency kits. Hug your loved ones, and we will see you all again real soon. Have a good one, guys.
Stay away from starfish.
And beetles and scorpions and toads and condors with weird mustaches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye, guys.